training on grievances and complaints. During this training, you will become aware of the process you should use when you have a complaint against another provider, what you can expect if someone files a complaint against you, as well as the division's process for taking and processing complaints. As you continue through this training module, you will notice that the process has all the components of a mystery novel. It is like detective work with tip-offs, investigations, detectives, and evidence gathering. So let's probe further and examine the role we all play in the complaint process. The division investigates complaints when a provider is non-compliant with Medicaid waiver rules, a participant's health and safety becomes a concern, and when the person who is filing the complaint, or complainant, has already taken steps to resolve the issue with the provider. CARF accredited providers are required to meet the CARF standards for complaints and grievances. These standards include documenting investigation and complaints, including the findings of the investigation, completing investigations within a specific time frame, notifying the complainant of the results of the investigation, and communicating the complaint process to participants and families. Non-CARF providers have to meet the requirements of Wyoming Medicaid Rules, Chapter 45, which are similar to the CARF standards but are not as involved since non-CARF providers are not organizations but are independent providers. If you are the person who has the complaint, you are the complainant. As the complainant, you are required to notify the provider of your concern or issue in a professional manner and then work with the provider to fix or resolve the issue through discussion. You may also use mediation or third-party intervention as a way to resolve a complaint. While working with the provider, you can expect them to take action to resolve the complaint. You should continue to work with the provider throughout this process, making sure you clearly document all the steps you have taken to resolve the problem. After working with the provider, if you're not satisfied with the results, you can file a complaint with the division. If you are the provider who has had a complaint filed against you and the waiver services you are providing, you also have responsibilities. When someone comes to you with a complaint, you're required to conduct yourself professionally and work to resolve the problem with the complainant. You need to take action to fix the issue in a positive and proactive manner, making sure to document the complaint, action steps you have taken, and the outcome. You are also required to share the documentation with the complainant and case manager as long as it doesn't violate HIPAA standards. Now here's the tip-off. When the division receives a complaint, the division staff member will verify that the complainant has worked with the provider to resolve the complaint. This will determine the next steps taken by the division. If the complainant has not worked with the provider to resolve the complaint, the division staff will determine if there are concerns about the health and safety of a participant. If this is the case, please note that the division will take the complaint immediately and you will not be required to submit evidence you have attempted to resolve the issue beforehand. Health and safety related complaints will always be taken immediately. If the complaint is not health and safety related, division staff will encourage the complainant to work with the provider and document the steps taken to resolve the issue. If the complainant has worked with the provider to resolve the complaint, division staff will then take it as a formal complaint. Here's where program integrity becomes private eyes. If the complainant is a provider, they will be required to submit the complaint to the division in writing. Program integrity staff will request written documentation of resolution attempts that include dates and times of discussions, as well as discussion content and responses. The division now notifies the parties involved. The complainant will be notified in writing within 10 calendar days, explaining that the complaint has been received, including a suggested time frame for completing the investigation. The provider is also notified. This notification will be in writing, explaining that a complaint was received if there are no significant health and safety concerns present. However, if significant health and safety or rights are a concern, the provider will be notified by an unannounced on-site visit. The division now puts on their gumshoes and gets to work on the investigation. Steps the division may take when investigating a complaint include on-site visits with the provider and correspondence with parties involved via telephone, email, and certified mail. The division can also interview the provider, provider staff, participants, and families, and can review provider files, policies, and procedures. The division collects as much information as possible before determining if the complaint can be After the investigation, the division once again notifies the parties involved. The complainant will receive notification that the complaint has been investigated and closed as long as the complainant is a participant or guardian. The provider will be sent a written report summarizing the results of the complaint investigation. The report will include findings, corrective actions, and applicable standards. The division then monitors the provider to ensure the corrective actions are completed. If the provider completes the corrective actions, division staff may follow up with the provider at the next recertification or throughout the year to serve as a support and ensure compliance. Case closed. Now we're going to review some frequently asked questions about our complaint process.
I have a complaint against a provider, but I'm afraid that the provider will take action or retaliate against the participant. Should I go ahead and file that complaint?
Please go ahead and file it. You can file complaints anonymously,
Okay.
and the division will work with you to investigate it so it's not real obvious who filed the complaint. If we do find that the provider is retaliating, we can also take action against them to have them stop.
I'm not a provider, a guardian, or a participant, but I'm worried about a particular person. Can I file a complaint?
Yes, you can. You can file a complaint with any division staff, and all we ask is that you give us as much specific information as you can so that we can do a thorough investigation.
What if my complaint's against a case manager?
We would ask that you first work with the case manager to try to work through your problems. The case manager may not be aware that you have the concerns that you have, and they should be given an opportunity to fix them. However, after you work with them, if you're still not satisfied with the resolution, you can file a complaint with the division.
So where can I find more information about the complaint process?
You can get more information from any division staff person in your geographic area. You can contact the division through the phone numbers on the website, or go to the website and access information directly about the complaint process. Remember, all providers must adhere to the complaint process that is outlined in Chapter 45, Section 31 of the Wyoming Medicaid Rules. The rules can be found at the Secretary of State's website. The division works collaboratively with providers and can provide guidance when a provider is required to complete corrective actions. However, if a provider fails to complete corrective actions, the division will take action, which may include decertification as a waiver service provider, suspension of certification, imposing of civil monetary penalties, imposing a monitor, or placing conditions on a provider's certification. Thank you for joining us in the training session on complaints. If you have any questions or would like additional information, you can refer to the division's website, contact your local survey certification staff, or review the rules.